How's it going, everybody? My name is Oz, and we are back for another installment of the Omi-Cast. For those of you who don't know who we are a group of 4 individuals who play awesome nauts who want to brighten up the community with this awesome new podcast that we're releasing into the community. And what we aim to do is just promote everything that's awesome nauts related, whether it be tournaments, players, teams, whatever it may be. If it's awesome nauts, you're going to listen to it right here on the Omi-Cast. Without further ado, let's go through the introductions, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, you guys? It's your favorite squid here, Deedee's, and I don't know, it's been a rough week, but I'm super glad to be back. For anyone that's curious or just wants to have a discussion with me, I'm living in the East Coast, United States, and we've been getting tons of snow. So I've been pretty much shoveling all day long, and it feels great to be doing something else, and I just can't wait. Today is going to be a special discussion, 2.9, can't wait. But other than that, Oz?
My name is Oz. For those of you who don't know me, I am a Ted McPain main. That's right. I just rhymed. Either way, I've been playing Awesome Nauts on the PlayStation 4 and have recently ported over, not recently I should say, but ported over to the PC and have been enjoying myself ever since. Like Deedee's, I am also from the East Coast, and we have just been getting slammed with snow, and we are trying our hardest to be here and release this podcast for your listening and viewing pleasure.
Hey, I'm Nada. Most of you should know me by now because I have been in literally everything since ever. And if you don't, I'm a Ray main. I play a lot of Raylan, I stream, I do YouTube videos, I cast tournaments, and I'm an overall annoyance to the Awesomenauts community because I'm always there. But nonetheless, I try to have fun with it. I've played this game for a lot of time now, and it's kind of becoming shameful of how much I've actually played. So I'm gonna throw that away and over to our favorite animal slash duck entrepreneur.
Hi, I'm Defmon. I'm a cat wrangler. This cat's attacking me right now. That's okay. I'm up in Canada, so I also have snow, but probably not as much snow as the East Coast for you guys. I play Swiggins, I play Genji, and I play the random button as well. I try to get a little bit of every character, except for Yuri, because I'm terrible at Yuri. But other than that, I play Awesomenauts too, because I do. And that's just a part of my style. And you know what? Recently, we had a huge update to the Awesomenauts. We've got 2.9 that just came out. I was going to talk about all the beta stuff that was going to happen. They released beta really early, so we've got 2.9, everybody's got Nibbs and everything else, and it's really exciting, so I'll step off to someone else while I wrangle this cat.
So, as this is a 2.9 special that we're doing for this episode of the Omi-Cast, majority of it is going to be about 2.9, and we're just going to continue to speak about the changes and certain things that have affected Awesome Nauts, and how Nibbs has finally come into the game, and what we anticipate to see from that. So, how do you guys think that Nibbs is going to... Well, first off, I guess we should talk a little about Nibbs. So, if somebody wants to explain a little bit about Nibbs and just her abilities and how she works, go for it.
Alright, so Nibbs is the dragon. Nibbs is not Nazi dragon, but Nibbs is a dragon. So the way Nibbs works is, Nibbs has a melee attack like most nauts, but has a frenzy bar. So attacking multiple times in a row will build up this bar, which will give her more attack speed, and it also stacks with a few more upgrades. In addition, she's got the Orb of Omicron, which is basically what this cast is basically named after. She shoots a little ball, and she can basically teleport to that ball after a couple seconds, or she can just leave it to hang. In addition to that, she has her Fire Breath ability, where she can breathe flames on enemies for a short amount of time, dealing lots of damage over a whole bunch of ticks. So lots of small numbers add up to one big number, and then she has this combo where you just you flash in and they breathe on them, and that's fire.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Definitely Nibbs is something to look out for. It's one of the new characters that has a bit of a unique style of gameplay towards her. She can be used as a chaser, which she's not very fast, but the amount of damage that she can produce on base when she has the 4-stack frenzies, that's just a scary thing to fight. And the longer you fight, the faster she goes, and it's just super fun. Now, Nibbs hasn't been out for a long time, but there are currently 2 meta builds that are going into effect, where one of them is the Orb of Omicron Burst Fire, and the other one is Fire Damage. Obviously, the Fire Damage, it's no clip, it's decent range, and it can be upgraded to include more range, but it's just a massive amount of damage on anyone that ever comes close to it. And that's what a lot of people who are playing Nibbs right now, they're toggling between the two of those things, seeing which works, seeing what works in what combos, and just how she plays into compositions as well as how she plays against certain nauts. And all of this is super fun because a lot of characters got changes in 2.9. And I don't know, anyone just name a character. I think almost all of them got changed, and we'll go one by one and just head from there.
Actually, I want to stay on topic with Nibbs here, because I do want to talk about her fire for a second. As Dev said, it's a small amount of damage, but the ticks that it takes, it just adds up to so much damage over time. And although the damage over time is short, it's about a second, I think, that fire breath lasts.
Something like that, yeah.
It's a ridiculous amount of damage that's coming out, in addition to its no-clip capability. For those of you who don't know what a no-clip capability is, it's just basically the item or ability can go through walls. So Coco's Ball would be a no-clip ability.
Yeah, look at Dev doing that.
When you put a Nibbs against somebody who's weak behind your turret, or say a Raylan that's going to turret hug, I know Nata likes to turret hug a lot, as I've seen in the past. But if you put a Nibbs against a Raylan that is really enjoying the turret hug, you pop right underneath that turret with the Orb of Omicron, you start your fire breath, she's going to be there for a few seconds. Now, a lot of interesting things that I've seen so far in matchmaking is the utilization of a time rift against Nibbs. Once Nibbs is caught in a time rift, it is terrifying. A Nibbs caught in a time rift is basically a free and easy kill for anybody who catches it off her cooldowns.
And it looks amazing because the fire is slow and it sticks around forever.
That's true too.
And actually, that actually brings me on to another point. One of Nibbs' weaknesses being that if you Omicron orb, if you orb in, if you orb in,
keep flashing.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna call it Orban because I'm cool like that.
Okay.
When you orb in with Nibbs, you basically have no escape, and that makes you vulnerable to a lot of heavy damage. Take Raylan's Time Rift, Clunk exploding in you, or Derpal Nuke. We have like just these damages that Black Hole Sun, for instance, like all these big damages that require aiming in some degree, is pretty much a free hit on Nibbs, and that requires you to actually think whether or not it is a good idea to go all the way under a turret to fry a Raylan when there's a Clunk hiding in the somewhere.
So I do want to interject actually, because Dedes was explaining this strategy to me a little bit when we were playing in matchmaking a few nights ago. He uses a strategy where he uses the orb as an escape as opposed to a chase or attack ability.
That too.
And you can kind of, while you're using your fire, you can also shoot off your orb. So if you want to explain how that strategy works a little bit.
Totally. So one thing just to make clear is that the Orb of Omicron can be used at any point in Nibbs' strategy. So she can be taking damage, she can be doing something, she can be fighting, or as well as doing her fire breath. And you can still send that orb flying somewhere and just hold it for the amount of time that it's up and teleport whenever you want. One thing that this makes interesting is that people right now, they are orbing in, doing a 200 base or a 410 upgraded burst damage, which I have to agree that the area of effect for that thing is huge. You hit basically anyone that's standing close to that orb. But they're teleporting in, and not a lot of people are understanding the threats that comes if someone sees you without your orb. They can easily take you down. And I feel that over time, when more people play Nibbs and more people understand what she's capable of, her positioning in the teleport will be a lot better. So something to work on if you're playing Nibbs or currently learning her, I would recommend maybe not teleporting directly onto them as like a sniper shot with the orb, but maybe above them or somewhere that the fire can still reach you as well as the burst. And trust me that the burst will reach them. That area of effect is huge. And then do the fire. But one thing that I've been working on since I just fell in love with Nibbs, super hyper aggressive and like hyper reactive gameplay where she's fast, she's reactive, her cooldowns are short enough that you can use them to juke, to escape, to damage, just super fun to play. But just run in with your fire. Just go in, start auto attacking when you're in a good spot, send your fire out. It's going to do tons of damage. If you have DOT on it, they're going to be DOT affected, which is like 300 for upgraded DOT, and you can just orb out anytime. Or if you damage them with the fire and run in, and for some reason they escape, then you can use the orb as a chaser and finisher tool. So just Nibbs is going to definitely be a competitive knot. I can feel it. I'm already owning in like solo queue and everything like that, and I just can't wait to see what the community does with her. She is going to be super fun and super troublesome to a lot of knots.
I would have really liked to see an ability called Fireball.
Oh, is
But
that...
I don't. It has some sort of damage over time, because that will kill you if you drink it.
Because
Unfortunately, it
Oh,
is my
boy.
drink of choice. So I'll just
Oh,
put that
boy.
back up there.
Yeah, we don't need any more of
it's
that.
water. You can have
Real
some
life
water.
Nibbs.
I have an empty cup of nothing here. Alright. Actually,
But-
you mentioned... oh, can I...
No, of course, go.
Okay, thank you. Alright. You mentioned competitively, and we all know that you can't really do competitive alone. You gotta have a team. So what do you guys think about comps that involve Nibbs? Personally, I've been seeing a lot of Leon Nibbs and Genji Nibbs. I don't know if that's something that happens in the US-Canadian queue as well. But...
Sentry, Scree, Nibbs. Done.
Swiggins.
Not even against. Yeah, Sentry, Swiggins, Nibbs. That's deadly.
I can even see a Genji Nibbs being terrifying.
Blow on Cocoon and you're toast.
Yeah,
Literally.
that's
Literally
that's right.
toast. You're getting prepped for
It's
toast.
like shooting a marshmallow and then you're roasted.
In the Cocoon,
That's gonna
they
be the
add
marshmallow
cheese.
strategy.
They
Deb
add,
Yeah,
just
pretty much.
coined it.
Just add cheese and then some meat, and then you get out, and then they fry you, and then they eat you, and the bread, everything. It's
You
good.
should call that combo s'mores.
No.
Yeah. Genji
But who's
and
the
Nibbs.
chocolate?
Anybody
Ted
else?
McPain.
Oh, okay.
Ted.
Ted McPain.
Airstrikes. Stunning airstrikes. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Party boy Ted.
Oh god.
Party boy Ted. And all of you have to taunt at the same time. The second you get it off,
Yeah.
you just hit
Yeah.
the taunt button. And you can get DOT on Ted's airstrike, so yeah, I can see
Everybody's got
It
DOT.
stays
see
hot
it.
for a while.
I don't know,
Alright,
but
that's good.
talking about compositions and Nibbs, like I see that anyone with a CC or a snare just makes Nibbs super powerful, and even knots that we haven't mentioned, Derple. You get in a Derple trap, Nibbs just starts shooting at you. You're toast, literally. You're beyond toast. You're burnt, and
Beyond toast.
beyond toast.
Beyond
So-
used.
Sentry is definitely one of the knots that is more viable with Nibbs alive. He was popular in 2.7 with Voltar, and now he's coming back. I've seen a lot of Nibbs Sentry duos that I know they're doing, so it's working greatly in effect. You can use the Black Hole Sun to spray them with fire and then either chase with the orb or stay safe with the orb or anything. And it's a great pushing comp. She has 100% damage on turrets, which is a little bit surprising due to her fast auto attack, which can be upgraded. She doesn't seem like a pusher, but if you build her right and if you play her safe, definitely a turret is being melted somewhere if she's on it.
Which is actually something that I would like to discuss is strategies with Nibbs. Excuse me, that's my phone. I'll mute that now. But
Punch it. Punch it now.
one thing that I do want to discuss about Nibbs is the strategy and builds that you can build with Nibbs. As of now, we haven't really seen too much variety in the builds, I should say. We've seen your basic Fire Breath. We've seen your people going into Fury and using that to be able to push, as opposed to be that kind of cleanup character that Nibbs is sought out to be by members of the community and the way that people are playing her right now. One thing that I've seen is people use the jumpers and stopping themselves mid-jumper with the Fire Breath to juke people. I've seen that happen 2 or 3 times in High League 1 games at the moment, and it's a really interesting strategy to see, because people get very confused when you stop your momentum off of the jumper and can juke it so easily. Another strategy that I've seen being put to use is on Augion, when people are in their creep pocket, as I like to call it. If Nibbs is on the other side of that with the bouncer, with Fire Breath range, she can reach into the pocket and basically clear it out and ensure that it's clear for a bottom lane push. So, Natty, you look really confused right now when I said that.
No. I know what you're talking about. That's little. I call it the tiny jungle.
Yeah, the tiny jungle. I just call it pocket though, but right
Pocket.
below creeps on Augion, that little jungle where you can't see in if the opponent's in it.
I do want to mention something super interesting that I've been trying to learn Nibbs and super fun, like I said, so I'm definitely, hopefully going to main her eventually. But one thing to note is that if you start your Fire Breath animation going down off the first jump and you hit your button to start the fire, while hitting a bouncer, you fall through the bouncer. And that's basically giving you a base CC immunity where you can drop down from the bouncer and spray him with fire breath. So her anti-gravity fire breath hold doesn't always apply. There are some tricks to make you actually drop to the ground and then be a stationary fire breather. And then obviously if you do that trick, you have your orb to escape. And the orb passes through jumpers and you can just easily juke with that. So it's definitely something interesting.
So actually, I do want to go back to that because I'm not grasping the concept 100%. What you're saying is that if you use a jumper and at the exact same time you hit the jumper, you activate your fire breath, you will lose your gravity and momentum and go and fall through the jumper?
Yes, I've done that numerous times. I don't know if it's an implemented bug or rather intentional or a bug, but if you time it correctly and you hit your fire breath on a jumper or coming down of the first jump animation, so you just jump in the air, you're coming down and you hit that fire breath, you're not always going to be in the air. You can forcefully put yourself onto the ground and have the gravity effect take place, and so you'll just fall to the ground and do your fire breath. And I've done it twice to the point where you can use it to have CC immunity on jumpers. On Agilon, it works super well because they don't see an orb coming, they just see a fire dragon coming down the jumper and just all over you. And then as soon as you try to get her, just orb away.
Orb away.
Hopefully it's not a bug, it's definitely something interesting.
It seems like it is a bug, but it's something like a bug that you'd want to keep in.
Actually,
Yeah.
alright. Because the getaway of Nibbs is, you get away pretty quickly. If you shoot your orb at a bouncer, you're instantly there. And that's actually something that I think they're trying to get away from. Coco was nerfed with the silver coating to reduce her overall gankiness and escape. Because silver coating used to be this basically strap-on rocket solid fuel booster, and you turned it on, and you were in the base in no time because you have now strapped 7,000 billion tons of pounds of fire in your buttocks, and now you can fly at supersonic speeds, and you can no longer do that because they eventually thought that breaking the sound barrier all the time was not a good idea for Coco.
You just reminded me of that skit that they had in Jackass when they attach fireworks to their roller skates and go down the hill.
That's not.
That's basically what silver coating is.
Basically, in a nutshell.
It's not. It's actually as colorful. So.
I
mean,
it's still overpowered.
That's actually.
I've seen it in action. I've seen some of the best Cocos in the game at the moment still use it and still be able to get out of there at the speed of light without a scratch on.
That's actually, the Coco and the Penny nerfs were somewhat warranted, I feel.
Yeah,
they were absolutely
warranted, yeah.
needed. If you saw how many bans and pics there were of Coco and Penny in the Alienware Cup, if you saw that flowchart, you could see that people obviously knew the potential and power of Coco Penny.
People were like, hey, give... And then
I need mobile nuts that are not easily killed and have lots of mobility and do lots of burst damage.
Also, lots of
turn pushing.
But Penny, let's talk about her. Let's talk about the nerfs. No, I wouldn't say nerfs, but changes.
Really?
No, she got nerfed. She got nerfed and she deserved
nerfs in
it.
some opinions, buffs in other opinions.
To use hardship net.
How can a reduction in the heals be a buff?
Oh, I'm talking about to one specific player.
Amount,
The amp to Mimic.
There it is, the shout out. Minik,
Oh yeah,
we love you.
With the pulse spam and the
Pulse Def Lens.
love his montages, dislike his music.
Well, Def Lens got nerfed too, so it's down to 250 max instead
Still
of 300.
OP.
So
Still OP.
I know, but it's like it got like that. And I mean, there's the 5% amp buff for base, and you can upgrade that with the amp, so it goes up to 20% at base instead of just being at 5% or maybe even 15.
I still think
there's that.
Her mobility is what just solidifies her role in Awesome Knots. How mobile she is, the types of things that she can do with base mobility. Obviously, you can upgrade that to an additional jump, a quad jump. How is...
Well, you see Vinny. Vinny wishes he could fly like Penny could.
He wishes, unfortunately.
Yeah, he can't fly like Penny can fly.
Besides that, though, How do you
I
feel
think
that
it's her
gonna...
cooldowns.
It's her cooldowns that are doing it?
Well, yeah, a lot of nauts got nerfed for their mobility, but the cooldowns play an aspect where you can start your initiation, and then at the same time, while you're still initiating with the pulse and you're building up charges, your cooldown is refreshing itself. So you always have that pounce in stock, and then your timer for the pulse is regenerating itself. And obviously for Minix build, where you start off with one charge, you do a pulse, you reset your cooldowns, and you shoot a death lens, which I have the patch notes right here. It got nerfed from 150 to 125 damage per stage. That's still a decent amount of damage with a great range. But I want to say, I know Oz, you had a little topic, but this patch, I gotta say, the balancing, there's a lot of skeptics about it, but so many characters jump to S tier. There's a lot of characters that, while they're nerfed, they're now balanced into the S tier to be able to play against other knots with the same power and level. You have Swiggins, Vinny, Clunk, Coco, Penny, Nibbs, Scoop. Who else? Skulldeer's up there, not as popular.
Froggy G, Leon.
Froggy G, Leon, with the return of the pushing Leon.
Oh my god, that Clover on her buff. Ooh.
Oh yeah, no, nope, don't like that at all.
I don't know. It's a good return compared to how he was. Definitely a step in the right direction, even though Clover is now returning of the pushing Leon as well as the base attack on clones. I see so many Leons actually take both upgrades now off of Solar Drop. Usually they go for tongue and boots, or they save it for like tongue piercing and everything damage, but now you actually see clones being put to work. You can set a clone, they last longer, and they actually attack, and it's additional body blocking, additional damage, and just confusion. So you're halfway built into clone army off the start.
Yeah, it's true.
And what else got changed? I know
Frog.
Alright, yeah, let's talk about Frog.
His tornado move. Frog.
Take it away, someone. Who wants him? Take Frog.
Right.
Dev wants it.
I'll do it because I just played some Frog last night. I'm terrible at Frog. But last night I had a good time playing Frog because his tornado ticks hit twice as fast and do half the damage. So I was able to effectively hit more ticks, it felt like, and I was able to make more use of that. And in addition to that, they changed up his... I'll say Burst Worm Gym because that's what Grim says all the time. Mutant Worms Ninja Edition, I think. Anyways, the burst on auto attack when you land an ability, that was changed a little bit to apply with some of the things he has. So it applies with the Hammer Pants hit, applies with more tornado ticks and whatnot. In addition to that, his cubes got buffed, so it's slow on Splash Dash to 2.5 seconds instead of 2, and it applies with Hammer Pants, which is a big deal since Hammer Pants is such a large AoE. It allows him to do this huge AoE, well, I was supposed to say snare, because it's really significant as the slow when you're tornadoing them in the face. But yeah, it's really good slow right now. I know, facepalm.
No, tornado. My hand isn't a tomato, but...
Oh, okay.
That's a pretty bad tornado.
I'm sorry.
I'm a pretty bad frog. It's like, I can't even tornado.
Give you one cat butt up in the air out of 5.
But actually, I was watching some streams and they were discussing how you can't one-tick people with Frog anymore. And I think that was one of his major assets, was the sickening amount of damage he can dish out in one tick. You have the Splash Dash, which you can obviously grab Hammer Pants on, and at that point, if you catch someone with Hammer Pants, what's the max on Splash Dash? I think it's 550. I believe it's 550.
Yep.
No, it's more than that.
It's 550 without Hammer Pants.
That's
Right.
That's
The initial
240
dash
with
itself
Hammer
is 550 as a max.
It sounds right, yeah, that should be it.
Yeah.
You add in Hammer Pants, that's 700 something odd damage.
790, I think.
In a half of a second. Half of a tick, if you will. You toss in the NATO now, that's it has that increased attack speed, but it's just so much damage still being output by a Frog, who's an extremely mobile, fast character with a 6-second cooldown on Splash Dash. That to me is extremely powerful, especially if you get a great team comp. We've obviously seen these comps come out with 99 cents. We've seen it with Team Boss, how they incorporate their Frogs into this, and how the sickening amount of damage that they're outputting is allowing them to continue the constant push, continue the constant barrage of kills on the opposing team. I think Frog is, he got pushed up to that S tier, as Dedes was saying earlier. You know, we used to, a few people considered, or I should say, the competitive scene considered Coco Penny to be part of that S tier. I believe that Frog definitely got pushed up to that S tier now. He was high A tier before.
He was.
I think he was high A, but now I definitely think that he's just went over that fence and pushed himself into the S.
It's a good thing though. Having a lot of nauts in the S tier, A tier range, that's a good thing, because Froggy, for the most part, he has these minor changes, but since the beginning of the game, if I can remember, he's always been the same, other than few changes. That massive amount of damage, it can be related to other nauts also. You have the 1000 Clunk Explode plus, what, 540 Bite or something, and the Penny 710, 790 Pulse with Deathlands, and then a Pounce. Yep. That's crazy. That's over 1,000. That's 1,200 something. And then
over 1,000.
Yeah,
it's over 1,000.
What does the scouter say about his damage? Oh.
It's more than one, and less than death.
Oh.
But definitely all these changes with nauts, their power is there and their mobility is there, which is one of the things I can definitely see why they nerfed Coco in terms of silver coating, since that was just way too safe. But for Froggy, he is now more reliable. So they made a character that is super well off in the game and super effective at what he does, easier to play. I don't know how that goes off well enough, because a lot of people didn't like Scoop when he first came out because the hammer was just so easy to hit. And
it was like a fucking container just sailing through.
Try dodging a wall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But they actually did
reduce
they reduced the hitbox collision of the hammer, so that's also a good thing.
But just remember, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a hammer.
A ball. Or a ball.
I think it's the other way around. If you can dodge a hammer, you can dodge a dodgeball.
You can dodge
a Coco, you can dodge a match.
Oh, that was a good move anyway.
Let's talk about Gnaw and Derple, though. We're seeing some crazy changes going on to the mechanics of Gnaw as far as his weedlings go. And Derple getting a lot of solar reduction for items bought. So, how do you guys think that Gnaw is going to kind of play into account in 2.9?
Do you want to talk about Gnaw first or Derple first?
No, let's go for Gnaw.
Let's go Gnaw.
Gnaw is absolutely amazing this patch, and I don't mean that by like playing him, since I've never been a Gnaw fan, although he is a good character. He was just portrayed as being an annoying character. Now, if someone picks Gnaw, they are aggressive, they have tactics, they can fertilize their weeds, they are actually pushing and not extending the game. I think this is like the best change for Gnaw that's ever possible. It was skeptical in the beta, and it worked out super well.
It's actually, as far as I'm concerned, there were an unlisted change that allows Gnaw to place weedlings while moving and not actually having to stop in that animation where he snorts out a weedling, which is
wow.
B, you said something.
Sorry. I was just kind of interjecting. Speaking of the unlisted changes, I know there was a Swiggins change that
I hate them.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dev knows. Any Swig player knows. Ronimo, you're great, but why touch the squid? For anyone that doesn't know, the unchanged or unnoted change for Swiggins is that if you miss your anchor and the anchor happens to die, your cooldown is reset to a higher number than purposely put there. So it's done for a way to protect your anchor. You're getting back that tactic that I see, Dev, that you pretty much have to go back for the anchor and grab it just to be safe for those cooldowns. And there was a bug with the noise or sound notification of recalling your anchor, but that's fixed in hot patch 2.9.1. What's up, Dev?
So basically the way that I looked at the specific stats and talked to you about it, the way it works now is basically if Swiggins' anchor is destroyed, it goes on a 15-second cooldown for anchor pickup, so you can't pick your anchor up. So that means if you're off cooldown and your anchor's somewhere in the field and it gets destroyed, your cooldown's instantly put up to 15 seconds.
Yep, and that's something to worry about since there's an annoying little tactic. Gnaw does it with his weedlings, but you can just throw your anchor right underneath the corner of the solar boss and limit their transfer between lanes because the solar boss is always spitting at you. If they destroy that anchor, it's just additional cooldown time that will be limited to either just hooking in and not being able to snare them, or having to rely on your auto attack, which it is a powerful auto attack, but you're very limited without your anchor. One thing, Dev, if you can confirm, if you actually land the hit and it's destroyed mid-chain, so they just break the chain, the cooldown isn't set to 15. It just goes back to the regular, is it 9 or 11?
It should be 10 second
10
cooldown.
between, yeah.
I believe that's how it works. I'll have to double check a couple things later on, but
yeah, that seems
that's
how
how
it
it
works
works right now. But that means I can't throw the anchor up into the stealth bush to check it, because then it's at risk of dying, so I can't really use the anchor as a scout now, and I can't really throw it at the tower anymore and use it as like a tank as much.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing. There's no longer a reason to throw your anchor on the tower. There is one interesting thing, and I've been jumping topics, but if you're Swiggins and Nibbs, a lot of people underestimate double glazed porcelain chain, that reduced chain length, and you get health on anchor, you get that reduced chain length, you hit someone behind the turret can't kill the anchor, and Nibbs just goes crazy, and it's super fun to watch. I don't know, it's just funny. But alright, going back to, what is it, Gnaw changes?
Gnaw.
Yes.
Gnaw.
One of the other things is that you see a little timer between his weedlings, how long they have left to live. It's 30 seconds now that the weedlings are alive, and with no collisions, they seem just additional damage. They're no longer used for blocking or pushing. They're just used for situational pushing as well as additional damage, and you still have that burst plant damage in a way. So No is definitely, in my opinion, going in the right direction.
I think that it changed up a bunch of his playstyle. Because Gnaw, you originally had him there. I would classify him as a support character. I wouldn't classify him as a straight-up pusher, attacker, assassin, whatever. He's definitely a support character, in my opinion.
He's a brawler.
He's a support brawler.
He can brawl, though. That's what I'm saying. Now, they've just increased his brawl potential. You have that no crash. You have those weedlings that obviously aren't going to be there for as long. This allows you to kind of push into some other upgrades that maybe you wouldn't have gotten as early as you would if you were a weedling player or a spit player. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of diamond teeth Gnaws. We're going to see a lot more of the movement speed. I think it's rabid teeth, if I remember correctly. And I definitely think that Gnaw's potential is up there right now. I don't know if we're going to see him in a lot of competitive play, but I definitely anticipate to see him in some of the matchmaking queues that we get into. That being said, let's talk about Dirple. One of my favorite characters in this entire game, Dirple. Take it away, man.
Dirple in a nutshell.
The Dirple drop.
You forgot the nuke. Where was the nuke?
No. If I detonated a nuke now, there would be no more podcast. So I'm gonna wait until we're done, and then we're gonna blow up the set. I'm in mid now. It's okay.
But what are some of the changes that we've seen in 2.9 for Dirple?
I have the list right here, and mostly it's solar changes. Dirple had a lot of solar change buffs where a lot of his upgrades were reduced, so he's building quicker into something that he wants, and at the same time that also allows him to quickly switch builds if it comes to that point, because you don't need as much solar. Hollow point bullets, the price reduced from $220 to $195. Deployment pads also reduced. Solid fist rockets reduced. Basically all his turret bullets damage were reduced in price, so he's able to deal lots of damage in turret mode if he gets to that point. And also I believe there were changes to his snares. He had additional snare time. I don't know if that got reverted from beta 3 though. Can anyone confirm? I think it was from 0.8 or something.
I think it was reverted to what, 0.4, and then went up to 0.6.
Snare times a bunch, I feel.
Like they were playing around with it,
and then it was like really just 3 second snares.
3 seconds.
Yes,
wonderful.
Oh yes, give it to me. Snares.
Well, the biggest change, obviously snares is important, but the nuke no longer homes on enemies, and that includes droids. So you can actually free fly the nuke into someone's face now with just amazing results. It's
The
hilarious to
only
watch.
thing that I can see being a downside to this is actually learning to aim the nuke with your prediction. One
That
thing
sounds pretty
that
easy.
people do need is speed on nuke for this to work now. You definitely need that speed on nuke for it to be as effective as you would anticipate, just regularly aiming it as opposed to homing onto characters.
Apply nuke to burned area.
I don't really agree with that, Oz.
It's gonna work out well. I think the area denial potential is gonna be great as well.
I don't know. I'm really liking Derpal. I'm really liking the changes to him. I know we've seen a lot of cat Derpals in the past, and then we're definitely going to see them in the future. But Derpal is up there. He's getting up there. We're moving Derpal in the right direction, boys. We're moving with him.
We're feeling a bit elevated here. Just get the Derpal, get him up there. The cat.
Derpal is definitely moving in the right directions, but the amount of Nibbs players I've seen, just because she's a new character and everyone's trying her out, people that tried out Derpal got destroyed by Nibbs. I'm sorry to say. So that is just
Yeah.
That's just a dead versus. So.
Actually, I've actually not seen as many Nibbs players because she's hard to play, but I have seen Derpals, and they've been taking snare traps and snare duration and building into cats. So when she tries to go in on them with the orb of Omicron, he puts down a silencing snare trap, so she's immobile and she can't use her flame breath, and she just used orb, so she can't do anything about that, and then she punishes her.
Yeah, and another thing is that for snare traps, with the extended or easier way to build into them, it allows for a lot easier combos. So like Derpal and Ayla. Ayla got a big change, but that combo could be viable. But let's talk about Ayla a little bit. I know Dev is just itching to talk about her all day, all night. Just Ayla. Hit it.
Poor Ayla. She's had some really interesting changes, I will say. I like the direction that the changes... Well, they are interesting. Just like the not changes, they're trying to change up her playstyle. So they did change up her playstyle. There's no arguing that. However, I feel like she needs a whole bunch of buffs to compensate for what she's got right now. I was playing her against bots. I lost against bots because if you use Rage, you kill yourself way too fast, and you don't have the lifesteal to compensate. If you use Chain Whack, then you don't have the range, and you're very vulnerable and squishy at the same time. Really, I like the change direction she's going in, but I think she needs a whole bunch of buffs. But Nada can probably talk about that better than I can.
I'm gonna go all grumpy now. That thing. I like all they had to do, in my opinion, was figure out a way to make her lifesteal not really depend as much on her damage on Rage, and then make AA more interesting. Not take away the interesting aspect of actually positioning yourself, chasing down enemies, knowing when to predict movement. Like when people are taking bouncers to avoid you, you go up, anticipate them coming up. All those things, going in, overextending because that's what Ayla could do. And what she did, she could overextend because the team fight was her environment. That was what she could do. She was a team fight brawler, and it was really, really fun to make sure that you were on target with everyone. And you just can't do that anymore. You're basically the Froggy G of DPS without all the fancy mobility or whatever. You just
I want to interrupt you and say is I've seen Ayla use Rage as more of a kill secure now. We've seen, well, what I've seen, I should say, is a lot of Ayla's going into that Evil Eye Ayla kind of thing going on, as Nada does his Ayla before 2.9. But
it's still fun, but not really as good.
I've seen Ayla use Rage to hunt people down now if the AA and Evil Eye doesn't kill him.
You just kill her
as opposed to starting the engagement with Rage. It's now used towards the end of the engagement to secure your kill.
The problem with doing that is that you have no toggle for Evil Eye, and you're dead when you enter Rage mode. It's become like a death switch, and you turn on, you sign an agreement that says, yes, please kill me, because I'm susceptible to knockback, CC, anything, and you can just kill me now. Because I take, and then, like, if she's at full HP, she's going to take as much self-damage as, like, if she was on low HP, meaning that she's not going to get extra sustain out of getting pills or anything like that. Her sustain is just... If this was Ayla before, her sustain just drops like that. And the entirety of what Ayla was, being a sustained fighter and actually doing the lifesteal, that's gone. That's not Ayla anymore. Ayla is a completely new naut, and I'm kind of sad that her name is still Ayla.
No, it's Bela.
Bela? I'll give you 2 out of 10 on that one. That was distasteful.
Thank you.
That was a face palm right there.
Oh,
I don't know. I think we're still going to see some of the builds stay the same, and I think some of the builds are going to change up, obviously. But I think people are catered more towards building into your Evil Eye and AA now, as opposed to Rage. It's just
true.
It's not viable anymore to use Rage as your engagement.
That's PSA. Do not build into Rage damage anymore. It's not going to be viable. Don't rush into it anymore.
Or check who you're playing. Check the opposing Ocelauts. If they have very quick characters.
Mention one character that would be good to fight with Rage damage now.
Durple. Durple Swiggins.
No.
You guys are just hating on Durple, man. You really underestimate
Durple would
Durple.
shred her. Durple would shred her.
It's because he's a sitting duck.
Hey!
Hey.
I think Durple would shred her, to be honest.
I get it. Duck joke. You know what? You're moving up on the ladder. You've now reached League 4 in jokes, Dev. Congratulations.
I'm stuck in League 6. Can I please come?
No, you're stuck in
duo
mid.
queue with him.
I'm stuck in mid. We have no leagues here in mid. It's great. It's the best.
Everyone's appreciated.
I don't know.
Not you, Dev. You have a rating.
I guess so.
Ayla definitely got a few changes where I think we're being mean with the changes just because all of us have played Ayla and we've gotten used to her playstyle. I said I was
going to be grumpy.
Well, yeah, but imagine a new player comes in and they are just picking up Ayla. It's not so different. It's a different style for us because it's totally a revamp of what we're used to. But people can still build into Rage. It's definitely situational, but there are a few required upgrades. Like, I don't remember the name, but the one that leaves a trail.
That'd be Rubber Band Ball.
Rubber Band Ball?
Rubber
Yeah.
Band.
I've seen that one play a great part into Ayla's playstyle now because that's basically her sustain. She can rage in, overextend, like Nato was saying, and then just she has to run back the same way because she needs that health on pickup from the Rubber Band Ball effect. And then it might not be damage, but definitely the size upgrade to poke through walls and everything like that, and that's still viable. Definitely AA Ayla due to her base lifesteal now, as well as her extended reach on chain. It's viable. It's a lot more viable and a lot more fun. I don't know. I always had fun playing auto attack Ayla, and now there's just more of them. So Ayla got revamped. I wouldn't say bad or good. Definitely different than what we're used to, but definitely just revamped into something new. I don't know. It's cool.
So how do you guys think that she's going to play into team comps now? Do you guys expect to see more competitive Ayla?
No.
Or,
no,
probably
no,
less.
no,
All
no.
right, fair enough.
No.
How about Durple? You see, are we going to see competitive
Yeah,
Durple?
probably.
No.
I think so, yeah.
No?
Not
Okay.
until
Too many
Who's
counters.
Who's gonna be the new competitive team in 2.9? I
Frog,
can see
Leon.
Leon, Frog.
Yep, Frog, Leon.
Frog.
Genji's gonna be there. I
And-
think Genji's gonna be there. I
Genji's
don't
gonna be
know
as a
Froggy
counter.
combo, but I think he's gonna be in some comms.
It was
Leon
Coco
Frog is
Penny
definitely
in
up there.
2.8. It's going to be Frog Leon in 2.9.
Yeah.
Not overpowered, but definitely the meta. So it's going to be lots of Frog players, lots of Leon players.
So
I
obviously,
think we're still gonna see some Penny as well, and Coco. Like, I mean, they did get their nerfs, but I think they're still very,
Yeah, they're
very
still
They
up
still
viable.
have the
there.
damage. They still have the damage.
The damage is a huge thing.
A good player will learn how to avoid taking more damage, and then you'll
So pre 2.9, we saw a lot of Cocos in the top 100, or I should say in League 1. I would say maybe 75%. No, that's
That's a lot. No.
overstating.
You're just like
yeah,
That's
you're
a-
throwing
I
out
would say
numbers like
I'm throwing out numbers, okay?
numbers. You can have
if I
I
numbers.
do
remember,
well in statistics, though.
The thread that lists the top 100 knots, Coco was up to 18 out of 100 for the top 100 places, and then followed by Penny at like 14 or something, I don't know, but definitely 20 for each for a safe guesstimate.
So do you think that we're going to see Frog and Leon take that over again?
Frog has always been there. Frog was like top 5, I think he held the third place for 2.9 and like the things, and Swiggins was up there, but I definitely think the return of Leon, especially for his early game potential as well as pushing power now, and he was always that assassin. Now he's just built into push, so he can be the one-man army again. Definitely the return of Leon. I'm not sure about frogs, but definitely anyone who has played frog, they just got better. They hit every tick now. It's crazy.
So before we move on into our next topic, just a few quick shout-outs to the players who we know play those characters. Ant, who plays Ayla.
Ant is the best Ayla I've seen.
Ant is one of the best Aylas that we've seen in here. I want to see a new build from you, and we want to see what you can do with Ayla. As far as Coco players go, you guys are fine. I don't want anything from you.
Go away.
Minnick, your build is obviously just going to be the same.
Minute got buffed.
Minnick got buffed. Who's a great Derple player? Who mains Derple that we've all seen?
Izzy.
Izzy.
Y, yeah.
Izzy. Yeah, let's see.
You guys
see
could go ahead and have your American Q circle judge. Should I find butter my bread? No, you don't know that guy either.
I could really go for some food now.
Melkor, you don't know that guy. Screw you then. I'll just go ahead and have my own party in mid.
That was good. Alright, next topic. We need to talk about our least favorite and most favorite items. This topic is brought to you by Saxon Ra. If I pronounce that correctly.
Saxon needs
Saxon Row. Now that he's actually educated.
We got
Saxon Row, the saxophone seller, has brought us this next topic of our least and favorite items. So let's just go down the list. We're going to start off with Dev. What's your favorite item, Dev?
My favorite item in the game for one of my favorite characters is spiritual cooking, because spiritual cooking is actually really nice. Provides up to 900 health for the whole party. Overall split across, so everybody gets like 30 or 300 extra health. So it's an upgrade that doesn't get utilized as much, but I feel like it's an awesome upgrade that gives your team a whole bunch of sustainability and survivability. So that frog who's now squishy is now a lot less squishy.
Now your least favorite?
Oh, I'd have to say not seaweed. Not seaweed I really don't like, just because it's so weak for Swiggins. All it does is add a blind on your ink shot, and that's it. It's not even worth anything, basically. You can only blind one target at a time as well, so you blind that one droid, I guess, consistently, and it stops attacking, but it's got another friend with it, so there's not really much of a point to it.
Nada, go.
Alright, favorite upgrade is duration on Time Rift, and you might be wondering why. Because people are silly. And I'll tell you why, because people have this thing of, I'm used to it, why is it not like it I'm used to? Alright, so, here's the situation. I'm gonna throw down a rift in front of my turret, and 6 seconds, 6 seconds is gonna pass, and people are gonna think, okay, time to turret dive, but wait, duration rift adds 2 extra seconds, and people are gonna anticipate the rift disappearing, so they just willingly jump in the rift. And that is when you get your friend Frog to dash him, and you snipe him, and they die, and they just say, why did I do that? Duration Rift provides for that, and I'm truly thankful for that. People keep being people. And for the worst upgrade I can think of is the carpet bombing for Yuri, because some people actually play with it seriously, and I'm like,
what do you mean play with it seriously?
Yeah,
it's an
I know.
upgrade
That's
in the
exactly what I mean. I mean, it's just a silly upgrade, and I really think that it should be changed to something else. I've seen some great suggestions on the forums, making it a mine that then splits up, does less damage, or a mine that, you know, you drop it and then it bounces out, explodes into these small mines. More things that might make it interesting. But right now, carpet bombing is where the carpet belongs. It's way down there.
On the floor.
Yes.
Deities.
Oh, you're gonna skip yourself? Alright, I'll go.
I'll go after.
I have nothing to say.
I need to pick an upgrade. That one.
Yeah, that one. Definitely favorite upgrade would be a little bit of a weird one or a niche. The double glazed porcelain for Swiggins, because I forgot when it was changed. Probably 2.6, 2.7. Back when it was a heal on drop, if you pick up your anchor, you gained health, and it was just fun tossing that thing around and like grabbing 30 health and just running around and like constantly shuffling that back and forth to heal yourself instead of going for health packs. Yep. And they changed it to a chain reduction, which is a lot more situational, but definitely a lot of people underestimate it. Like Nato was saying, for the time rift duration, it's not what people are used to, and when you change something that people are used to, they get so confused. And it's a lot. It does counter so many nauts. Like if you have a cat derp and you chain him and you have the short chain length, you can literally jump above his head and his cats won't hit you, and you just float there and shoot little ink shots at him, and he was just like, I'm helpless. Yep.
You know what? I'm not liking you guys bashing on Turple so much. You guys have been doing this for 2 weeks now. 2 weeks. You had your fun. Turple will
maybe
get
you
his
need
revenge.
some buffs or something.
Well, anyone, I don't know. The same thing for the chain length. You can pop someone in the turret and a clunk explode will come in and they can't help because they can't run. And the clunk explode has that radius that'll hit them behind the turret, and it's just awesome. Least favorite, I would have to say Wave Razor for Coco, because the status for that is the length +6, cooldown +1.5, so it extends your active duration of Blaze, but it also lengthens your cooldown. And I play Coco and I'm not the best, but I can't see a situation where that would be beneficial. You have, oh, Nada is just like, no. But you have the time travel turbine where you increase the duration of Blaze that stays on the ground, and it's basically the same thing. If you're trying to area of deny someone, that is just more precise, but it's still there. You have an additional 2-second timer and Blaze is there and they'll fall into it. If you're running with Heavenly Fire and you shoot it behind the turret, then definitely it can, like, that was my phone, but it's all good. It can definitely make them, like, jump back down into the Blaze, so there's nothing that you can do to stop it. Just Wave Razor, I know Nada and me are gonna have a little fight right here, but it seems useless. Go for it. Prove me wrong.
Alright, so Wave Racer has excellent synergy with Silver Coating. It adds more Blaze, thus more damage to your attack. The cooldown that you receive, the cooldown penalty that you receive, is pretty much useless or whatever, because you kill people. It increases your potential to kill people. It raises your overall damage. It overall slow because all the extra Blaze particles you get, and you just get so much for it, and it's so good for killing people.
I'm definitely gonna have to agree with Nat on this one. I would say that the cooldown increase is nullified. In the right direction, I hope.
Yep. Maybe to your left, I think.
But I think it's nullified, the cooldown reduction, because as he said, the amount of time that Blaze is gonna stay on the floor and your active Blaze is gonna be more than enough time to either kill somebody or make your escape. So
there's just so many better upgrades than that on the same row.
I agree that there are better upgrades. I can see it being a situational upgrade, however. If you have a Swiggins who has movement speed as well, if he has movement speed...
I want to change my answer. Worst upgrade ever. Boots on Swiggins.
No!
No, yes.
Absolutely not.
Okay, there is a viable chase Swiggins, but I don't know. You just have to get good with your anchor shots, and you can chase anyone down. You can hook to a wall and gain like 5 meters in a second, and then continue chasing. And plus, if you're using ink shots, then yeah, you're still able to chase with that little reduction when you drop your anchor. You gain a speed boost by just going for ink shots, and you have a little like AoE collision where you only hit one target, but it's still hitting them. And I don't know, I see a Swiggins that takes boots. I'm like, if you don't have krill biscuits, then what are you doing? Go for it, Dev. I'm having fights with everyone right now.
Stacking krill biscuits and boots, amazing. You can chase down anyone and escape any situation. And Swiggins with boots is very important, because if you have a huge map like AI Station 205 or Sorona, having that map ability to get around really helps. And it does work. Like, I mean, it's not as significant as a boost as, say, some other boots, but it does help Swiggins a lot. And your other options are really, Baby Curie Mammoth. Piggy Bank doesn't really apply because he doesn't really have anything that's amazing to bank into. And the other option really Barriers Magazine, which is okay. I can see that run.
It's a lot better than boots.
Yeah, no, I would argue there again.
10% or
10%
a situational. Yeah.
But speed's always going to be important.
Okay, yeah, it's not the most useless. I never said useless upgrade. I said least favorite. So it's something that I would probably never get on my Swiggins.
Get boots and drop.
All right,
sure you don't
I'm doing my favorite upgrades. Ted McPayne Unicorn Dance Karting. For those of you who don't know what that is, those are the mines on Ted. The little grenades he gets in his shotgun that everybody underestimates that do so much damage. You could just utilize it to such great potential. People don't realize if you have a Starstorm okay, a Starstorm
statue.
A Starstorm Ted maxing out at 352 on his shotgun. The mines themselves do 220 at max upgrade. If someone's turret hugging, you can use the mines because they explode directly on impact, and I believe they have the same hitbox as the gnome throw. So what I like to do is if people are turret hugging, I'll stay far back and I'll just launch my mines at them.
Like,
that being said, it also works great on a chase. If they're running to their turret, you get that shotgun shell off, that's 352, plus the additional 220. So you're at 572 on the chase down with one shotgun blast. For most characters, that's either a 3 to 4 hit kill if you're hitting 572 constantly. My least favorite upgrade, Banana Yuri. I hate it. With a passion. I hate Banana Yuris.
And that's not even... It's even good. That's the sad
It's my
part.
least favorite because it's good. That's
Oh yeah. I don't think it belongs on a Yuri, to be honest, but make it
I like what it brings for laser.
It should be like it folds laser back, and then it like folds out and then drops a banana that you can pick up for health.
It's so cheap though. That's the problem. It's 65% for 155 solar. It's I don't know.
It's really dumb. I don't like it, but it's
I don't know. I've
good.
seen some great Yuris use it. I know Destara plays an angry Yuri. He's just a mean Yuri all the time. One of the most aggressive Yuris that I've seen. And I just get so angry when I see him in a match against me. I'm like, damn it, now I have to counter his banana Yuri, Hubble, and range. Damn it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just I hate the upgrade because it's a good upgrade and it's a cheap upgrade. That's my least favorite upgrade.
It's cheap, go away.
But man, I do have to say,
away.
the grenades on Ted, or mines, whatever you want to call them, they're by far my favorite build.
The
Apparently,
mines.
some people have dubbed the mine build that I use as the Dr. Oz build in my streams.
Wow.
I
Wizard
pick
of
up
Oz.
mines, I get the stim pack that reloads the shotgun. So I'm just constantly launching mines, and people have just started calling it the
You're
Dr. Oz
prescribing
build.
them mines.
I'm prescribing them death by mines.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I should say.
If you were the demo man, you'd be shooting up hills.
If I were a bad demo man, I wouldn't be sitting here discussing
I wouldn't
it
be
with
sitting
you.
here now, would I?
I think we're actually running out of time, guys.
I always have time.
I think we are running out of time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
That being said, a few announcements that we definitely want to shoot out there. I believe we're going to have guests appearing on the Omi-Cast from, I think, 2 episodes from this cast. And
Maybe
we are
even
going to
this-
be...
maybe
even
sooner.
next cast. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
We're going to have an application up on our forum that you can either... We haven't decided whether we're going to do public applications or private applications. So
Let
just
us
keep an
know
eye
what
out
you
for that.
prefer,
Let
because-
us know what you prefer to that. And it's not as if we're going to disqualify applicants off the bat like that. No. This podcast is to get out there into the community. We're not going to be having... actually, you know what? Deities had just reminded me that my least favorite upgrade is flashy glasses, as you can see.
Oh.
And you
There
can
you
deal
go.
with it because I'm wearing a
Oh.
second set of glasses.
You know what he did? Because Nauts is a 2D game and he's
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yep.
The 3D. That I have
Real
never
real.
returned.
So you've been lying this entire time.
I've been lying this entire time, and
Yeah.
wow, those really hurt my eyes. Okay.
No wonder.
Alright, I think we better cut it
But
short
back to
then.
the updates. Yeah, we're going to be having guests on the Omi-Cast from now on. Hopefully, there may be some weeks where we don't have guests, and there may be some weeks where we just have multiple guests. So we're
join the
going to be... Yeah, come on, join the fun. Be sure to fill out an application. We'll have those up, I'm assuming, by the end of the time that this takes to upload, or by tomorrow. And we're basically going to decide whether or not we're going to use a public or private applicant system. And like I said before, even if you're not known in the community, even if you just want to get on the show to voice your opinion, that's what we want. We want your opinions. That's what this podcast is all about. Getting yourself out there in the Awesome Nauts community and promoting everything Awesome Nauts related. So keep an eye out for that. We all look at the upgrades, excuse me, after.
Yeah, we all do.
So don't think that one person is making this decision. We're all making this decision as a collective group effort.
I want to say things.
Say
the things.
Say
Yes.
things.
Oh,
Yes.
say the things
Yes.
now.
Anyway,
Say do it.
Anyway, I want to just make sure that people also know that we're also anyone that wants to get into the competitive casting scene or want to get better at doing mic work, whether it be voice acting or it's just general, performance on the internet. We want you in here too. If you like nauts and you can combine those two, then we'd be happy to help you develop your skills as someone who does something for the community, and perhaps we will see some new casters for our upcoming tournaments, and I'd love to, help people get in here.
Just to go alongside with that, just because we're using webcams doesn't mean that you have to use a webcam. So if you don't have a webcam, it's not the end of the world. Don't worry. If you're accepted on, we'll work with you. We'll figure something out. We'll get you a nice avatar picture. We'll see what's going on, though. But any other updates, dev deities that I'm missing?
Want to do a quick shout out as well for Awesome Fest. You should sign up. We're going to be covering that in a future podcast. But go ahead for now and sign up if you have a team. It's going to be really good. I'm going to be casting as well. So look forward to that. Other than that, do we have any personal shout outs we haven't done?
I think we've covered
not that I
everything.
can think of.
Alright, well...
I don't know. I
guess...
think it's time for us to say our goodbyes. Oh,
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing? The artists who have made this possible.
Oh, yes.
How could you guys forget this? Are you kidding me?
I've been looking.
You could bash on Dribble this whole time, but you forget about the artists. Really?
No,
really?
No. I've been on this canvas for the entire time. I've been enjoying it. Can't you see how much I've been looking up into the sky?
Paints me like one of your French nether pops.
But a huge shout out to the artists who've made this all possible, who have made these awesome layouts, who have done the Omi-Cast logo, who is Nibbs, of course. So a huge shout out to Vixie and a huge shout out to Zami's Kid, who are our GFX artists. That being said, take it away, Dedes, on the goodbyes.
I'm Dedes, always a pleasure.
I'm Oz, and I'm really tired.
I'm not, and I am a pleasure.
Yay! Triple buffs! Yay! I'm Devmon.
See ya.
And there goes... Okay. Well, there goes Oz.
Yeah,
I'll
Oz
see him
is
next
left.
week. The week after next.
See you all next week.